Welcome to the Creative Nonsense Podcast. This will be a bi-weekly podcast interspersed with episodes of Poets Mixtape every other Monday. On this podcast, I will be talking about the creative process with people in various creative fields who either do this as their main job or as a hobby. Now let's get on with the show and our very first guest. Okay. Welcome to the very first episode of the Creative Nonsense Podcast. I'm here with Ben, who does lots of creative things when he's not coaching League of Legends or studying history. Welcome.
Hello. Hello, it is I.
So, what do you do in your spare time when you are not studying history?
Well, I do too much. I am currently reading. I just started pumping this out due to a recommendation from a professor of mine. A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. A professor of mine recommended me to read it. So that's been most of my spare time has been dedicated to lately. That and just diddling around on piano a little bit. I'm not a vocalist. When it comes to music, I play saxophone, but in recent months or years, I've had to transition to vocal because one of the things I do is I'm part of a music organization that mainly sings, and I can blend, but I can't sing. Like, have someone next to me and I can match their tone. Have me do it alone. I'll crash and burn.
Yeah, honestly. I think that's like the one thing I had in choir in like elementary school. Like me on my own, tone deaf. A group of people, I can like kind of get somewhere.
Get somewhere, yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah, spare time other than reading and studying, play League. I play League with friends. I watch movies with friends. Just I do the generic college kid shit, honestly.
Generic college kid, what we all aspire to be. And so I know that you had been writing a web series a while back. How has that been going?
That's been not on hiatus. It's just my first thoughts of making this thing was, and again, sorry for my voice, I'm sick and this isn't how I usually sound. What it was supposed to be is not an exact reenactment, but a kind of interpretation of my first year here at UTSA. And what it mainly revolved around was me hanging out with a group of friends that I somehow was able to work with, as in we'd go to study room and we'd actually get stuff done that we had to do and not always goof around, but it was a good healthy mix. And the way the group of friends worked was we wouldn't even ask hang out, we just kind of do it. We just randomly show up at each other's dorm or show up at each other's study room over in the library and just hang out. But as time went on, we each progressively started to kind of fall out. If you've seen this, if you're familiar with Sandlot, at the very end, how they all start, like at the very, they just leave. All of them start doing their own thing. If you go to military, if you go to school, if you move away. What happened with mine was one went to the military, one dropped out and started going to a Catholic school. The other one got a girlfriend and got so infatuated with that they started stopping out with us. And the other one just kind of stopped coming around. So it all just kind of decreased in number, and we never really hung out anymore. Yeah, we talk every now and then, stuff like that, but there was just something not unique, but kind of personal to me that happened with all of that and what we did and what we talked about, and then it suddenly be gone. That me coming here my first year, not really having much, me moving away from home and making all these friends, not really knowing what I'd be getting into. It felt like a good environment to have around, and I wanted to try and recapture that in a web series called Reserved that a friend and I are working on. I pitched it to him. His name's Josh. He's mainly I met him through our I'm not on there, I swear, through our D&D campaign. I never really shared this idea with anybody until he started writing out stories for our new D&D campaign, And I liked his mind, his creativeness about what he was doing. And I pitched it to him, and I gave him the idea. He's like, "Oh yeah, we can write it. Let's do it." And so, the first and second one have been he and I, but I've been so busy with school and other things I'm doing, the coaching, my fraternity stuff, this music in general, and other things, that he's kind of taken it upon himself to write out himself, which I'm grateful for him doing that. It gives us a spot to move from, but it's gotten to a point to where it's the quality of the first two episodes that we've written out, the first two scripts, are intrinsically different and far superior than that of what he wrote himself, in a sense that I don't know if he understands how people talk and how much they actually talk about, if they were to be into drugs, how much they talk about that. Because around the time he started picking up on it, he got into smoking weed. No big deal to me, I don't care. I've been around it my life. I don't do it myself, but it's whatever. But it started to bleed into his writing.
Yeah.
And it's made it into this weird jumble of a mess. And we haven't quite gotten together to draft it some more, but he's given me all he's written, and he's written out the entire goddamn thing of our first season, apparently. 13 episodes, so what? 11 scripts he's written out.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he made it that far. Wow.
He's written out a lot. And the reason why it's on hiatus now is because I'm busy myself. And one thing that's been a problem for me is I always start things but I never finish them. So I have several books that I've started and haven't finished, on top of assignments that are the same thing. But yeah, as of right now, it's in a lull until he and I both come together again and start fixing it up.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing with, like, especially, like, web series and, like, collaborating with other people is, like, you have to find, like, the right amount of time, and then, especially when you are writing with someone else, you have to... I think the problem that, like, you're clearly seeing in the scripts is the fact that it's becoming too balanced on, like, one person, and you definitely needed both of your voices to make it sound like a thing. Yeah. And, like, that's one of the things that, like, I worry about in, like, my own writing. Like, my play that I'm writing right now, like, I'm like, do all of these characters sound like the same person? Because I'm the only one writing it. And so I have to get, like, lots of other people to read it and be like, do these sound like real people? And so...
These sound the same.
Yeah. So it's, like, that's definitely a thing, especially when you have, like, multiple characters that you're writing. And they're going to be having different conversations in different situations. And you want to make sure that they sound different enough. But still.
I've had to do I have two options for one of my finals. It was either make a short film or write a review of a movie that we watch in class, but from the point of view of when it came out. So if it came out in the 70s, write a review as if you were in the 70s. And I said, no, screw that, I'll do a short film. So I was writing out a script, and it was entitled 3 to 5 Mile Radius, which is just revolving around the university and events that occur in that radius. And as I was writing it, as I got to the end, I started to look back on it and I thought, this isn't how people talk. It's not how... there was one instance where I had a couple talking about like what they're going to do and stuff like that, and I was looking at it and reading it and I thought, this isn't how couples talk. No way. This is not... I scrapped the whole goddamn scene. I started writing it, and I just couldn't. I feel like I shouldn't get into scenarios that I'm unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
Because that's where it really drifted off into just two people talking that sound like the same person for me.
Yeah. When you write, like, different situations, it either takes, like, a ton of research, or, like, you either have to, like, search everything that, like, you don't understand, or talk to people who understand those scenarios much more than you do. Otherwise, like, I'm over here just being like, I don't know how this works. And, like, I'm trying to write these other people. That's why that whole phrase, like, write what you know, like, comes up. Yeah, otherwise... just becomes a weird mess of
a big old mess.
There was we were talking to playwrights in our classes past week, and because one guy was talking about mushrooms in his play, but then people were drinking in the play, and so someone else was asking, like, wait, doesn't, like, if you take shrooms, like, doesn't alcohol cancel out the effect? And it does. And so, like, that was a thing that, like, a bunch of other people didn't understand, that, like, those two people understood as, like, a part of the play that, like, completely changed what everything meant in, like, the rest of the play. That it's just, like, if someone else was writing that and, like, they didn't know, and they were like, yeah, these people, like, take shrooms in the forest, and then they get drunk, and, like, all these hallucinations happen, it would make no sense. Because it would be, like, they weren't actually hallucinating. So, that's, like, you gotta know those things.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stay away from writing about couples for a little while. I'm gonna stay away from that.
That's me when I'm trying to write, like, I don't know, certain kinds of relationships or, like, friendships. I always have, like, one-on-one friendships, or it's, like, always just a certain way that, like, friend groups are, where it's, like, anything else. I don't know how that would work. I don't know how to have, like, raging parties where, like, people hang out. I know how to have, like, hangouts where people are playing, like, board games. Like, that's not a thing I know how to write at this point in my life. If I become a party person, maybe.
Maybe.
Not quite there yet. Although my early 20s are ending. That's a tragedy.
What do you qualify as early 20s? Like, what year is early 20s over?
I think your early 20s are over when you graduate college, just because of the fact that then you're sent out to other non-early 20s people around you. Yeah, this is your early 20s, where you get to make those college mistakes and party, I suppose. Although I have not done those things.
I'm not gonna talk about my endeavors in that.
Oh, I've heard about those.
We're not discussing this. No, please.
So how have your music projects been going otherwise, besides, like, your filmy projects?
They're going. The most simplest thing to make, as far as I've been. I don't plan on ever, like, putting out anything ever. A few friends of mine that have heard my stuff are telling me, hey, you should release an EP on SoundCloud or something like that. But me making music has never been about trying to show off and bring it out or and give it to people. It's just been, I want to see what I can do.
Yeah.
I want to see what I'm capable of with what I have, and I use the program of Fruity Loops, and I have a few packs, the medicine packs. I've downloaded a few future funk packs with some bass licks and guitar stuff like that, but not a lot of plugins. But what I have is just a mess of things, ranging from the simplest lo-fi hip-hop beat with some rain in the background and a little crackling of a record and some hi-hats.
Is that, like, your own, like, custom
that.
Like, study music?
Pretty much, yeah.
That sounds like what's the name of that, like, streaming one on YouTube that's always like
24/7 lo-fi hip-hop beats to study and chill to by Chilled Cow, I think. Plug in right there for you. That's mainly what I don't listen to that often, but when I do, I find it the most simplest and easiest to kind of replicate. Because it really is. There's not a lot that goes into it. Just maybe a little, some piano chords, find some audio files of some rain or some ambient noise. There's one I was messing with earlier that had a telephone ring in it. Yeah, telephone ring. It's really strange, but
that's interesting.
I got that. I was able to recreate a song by you probably don't know this, Macross 8299. It's some future funk J-pop weird thing that I was able to replicate it almost to the tick. There's just a few plugins that you had to buy to get a certain sound. I don't have money for that. So, and I have one or two songs with me actually either singing or doing, like, spoken words / rap on it that I've teased out to people. Like, I put it on my Snap story, I put it on my Instagram feed, stuff like that. But just to gauge those that do know about it, see what they think before I show it to them, like, fully. And a lot of times I get a response of, oh, it sounds great, I want to hear the whole thing. Oh yeah, sure, come over, I'll show it to you. But so this has mainly just been a thing for me. I don't plan on releasing an EP, despite a friend of mine or a brother of mine trying to get me to go to a friend of his studio to make music. But I just don't. I'm not comfortable with that yet. I just like it just being my thing.
Yeah. That's cool to be able to have, like, a creative outlet where it's, like, you're not, like, trying to just, like, put it out there all the time. It's, like,
Yeah.
pretty much all of my writing, I'm just, like, take it. Because I want people to see it. Because for most of my life, literally until I was, like, 20, I was like, I'm just going to keep all of it and show literally no one except for my teachers who I have to show. And my teachers were always, like, telling me, like, you should put this in the school newspaper, or, like, you should try and, like, get this published, and I was like, nah. And, like, my mom, like, up until, like, 6 months ago, that was, like, the first time she had ever read anything that, like, I've written, basically. So it's, like, a thing that, like, I hid for a really long time, but, like, now I just, like, want everyone to see it. But it's also, like, a lot of pressure, because then it's like, oh, I expect, like, all these things to be good, and, like, not just, like, as much for fun anymore. But, well, I need to find something else that's probably, like, soothing in the same kind of way.
One thing that I've noticed a lot of the time, especially with content creators, or whether it be writing or music or short films, that everyone wants to just put what they have out there, and I'm not opposed to that. I like seeing what people think. It's awesome. But me personally, I value my own anonymity too much. I value my own personal afflictions and work that I have for myself, and it didn't take a while for the web series idea for me to even share with him, but it took a lot of like encouraging from my personal, like, come on, just share it. He's an okay writer. He can help you out and put your vision out to give other people. But I've always just been more content with just keeping my stuff for myself. It's just always been a thing that I do. Because there's been a few times where I've been able to. There's been like Q&As with like content creators on YouTube, and one was this guy named Matt Castro, who does League content and gaming content mostly. And a question I asked him one time was, "Do you miss your own anonymity sometimes? Because once your name is out there, your name's out there." And so he can never play League and not be recognized, and never not be harassed by people all the time. And I feel like it's the same way with that, of possibly even content, whether it be writing or making music, is once your name's out there, you're out there.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't pull yourself out. And so I've always been kind of fearful of doing that. And so I'm keeping everything I have for me only. And even if I do release the short film or that web series, it's going to be done under either a fake name or a production name that I'm not going to give it who I am. So
that's cool, though, having that, like, division, which I found that really interesting in, like, the early days of YouTube, how, like, everyone used, like, a fake name, basically, and then it, like, went into, like, now everyone uses their real names, which is just a funny thing to me. Like, everyone really appreciated that anonymity for, like, a really long time, but then it went to, like, everyone wants, like, a piece of you and, like, the real you, like, especially when, like, vlogging became, like, really popular. So it's, like, having that anonymity is, like, harder and harder to, like, grasp onto these days. So
hashtag never forget Lonely Girl 15.
Oh my god. Even the fact that we still call Jenna Marbles and not Jenna Mori.
Yeah, it's just you gotta build the brand.
Yep. It's how it becomes. You could become a household name like Logan Paul, though.
Let's not get into that. Oh my god. I don't even want to stick my hand in that. Oh, Lord Almighty.
I'll fall deep into those pits.
Oh god.
It hurts me inside.
It hurts me too. Yeah.
Just went to a dark place. Yeah, I mean, I'm known as, like, a meme girl at this point. Like, I'm known as a meme in, like, YouTube comments. And so, like, my name's more like the fact that, like, I'm just, like, I don't know. I wish that I was known as a writer. That would be cool. It's not like, oh, you write those poems. It's like, you write those YouTube comments. So it's like the fact that like my anonymity is like I'm not even anonymous anymore, but it's like I'm not even myself either, which is like a weird place to be in between.
You're a picture that people look to and double check for comments on. Oh, is it this person? Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay.
It's like it's a weird thing where it's like, oh, you're that person. It's like, yeah, I guess
That's
that's who
me.
I am.
I'm not Ashley anymore. I'm the person who writes funny comments.
Yeah, and like that's also the thing that like whatever you do choose to share, if like you do share, it's like, oh, you're the guy who makes that web series. Like that's gonna be like the thing that like you're tied to. Or if like you happen to like one day if you decided to make league videos on YouTube, hypothetically, that would be like the thing that you would be known for. And so it's
Yeah.
like it always depends on like what you would do.
What do you do? Yeah.
So that's like a weird outward thing that like the world sees you as. So it's like so if you did do like the web series, then people would know probably that you did music. Like it's like always the layers.
I fumbled with the idea of whenever it does get into production of either putting in my own stuff in there. I fumble with the idea, but I have friends that do make music that is meant to be put out, and that I am considering talking to them about making stuff for it instead of me doing it. And because I think that they deserve to be put out there more than I do, per se. The fact that they put in more work for it than I did a lot of the time, so I feel like they should be put out more.
That's
It
cool.
helps to have friends in different realms
Yeah.
of content creation.
And that's definitely part of why I wanted to do this podcast because it's like I know a lot of people who like I talk to on like Twitter or like Discord or like everywhere else. Like everyone does a lot of cool things. And like I want everyone to like talk about it so I can be like, hey, this person makes cool stuff. You should go look at their cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have any cool stuff you want to plug or not. Or if you just want to be like, I'm here.
Uh, I'm here, I'd say. Uh, for music stuff, I'm here. If you need help making stuff, I'm here. In terms of writing stuff, I really need to be in a certain mood for writing. I need to have lights off, rain going. No, I need to.
You need the
I,
moods.
I gotta have mood lighting. I gotta have candles, scented candles. Um, no, in writing, my writing is, I wouldn't say specific. It's just I have a certain way that I talk, and that transferred onto the page at all times. Like a lot of the time, this isn't like to fill words. I'd be writing a paper, and I'd say, as a result of, and then it would Google try to change that to as this, and just try to shorten out what I'm trying to say. Is I talk in an elongated way, just to try and add extra, I guess, emphasis to what someone is saying.
Mhm.
I would pull up something that I wrote, but I don't want to. I was like sharing it. But it's a lot of times my stuff can be shortened out and like smoothed out, but I like the roughness of the way I talk because it adds my kind of personality to it, my own little thing. In terms of league stuff, I'm an analyst and a coach. The team here, I'm not affiliated with the official one. I'm affiliated with a few like minor ones that people have made for themselves, help them get into tournaments, local ones here, whether it be at a Microsoft or the Cyber Cafe here. Um, I maybe I can know what this may pertain to, but I'm of knowledge wise, I'm at a mid plat, high plat knowledge. Mechanics wise, I'm in gold, so don't talk to me about playing for you because I'm the most filthiest of fucking casuals. But hindsight wise and looking at the game wise, I'm set. Just don't make me click the mouse myself because I'll ruin everything. Music wise, again, I'm here. What else do I do? History. If you need an SI for your history, I'm here for you. And that you can just find me at Limited Asian on Twitter. Limited Asian because I'm half Filipino, half Hispanic. Not sure if you can tell with these glasses, but My eyes. I look better with glasses on, so I keep them on at all times. So don't
You're
clip that,
like,
please.
this is my look.
This is you. This is me. The too much hoodies in the Texas weather guy. In terms of history stuff, I'm going on my third year here at UTSA. I'm pretty sore that the UTSA cut half the funding from my College of Liberal and
Ugh.
Fine Arts. And so plenty of our teachers are leaving. Some of them have already. And so the catalog of classes available is really shortened. And I really want to focus because you can be a history major, but one thing that's a thing that happens amongst majors is that you have a certain time they focus on.
Mhm.
And mine, I want to focus on European history, preferably prehistoric to 15th century. But we don't have classes that are offered for that too much. Especially this coming year, fall 2018, spring 2019. A lot of the classes that are offered are about U.S. and Mexico border relations, U.S. and Latin America, U.S. Texas and Mexico border history, just stuff like that. And there's only one European class,
Dang.
only one or two, and I'm taking it. It's Soviet Union and after. About the other two, I have to take. Yeah, I'm taking 4 classes because I need to work to survive around here. I'm taking a Soviet Union class, History of San Antonio, World Film and Cinema, World History and Cinema, and Digital Media Production, so I can get access to all the equipment over at the university. Because apparently we have a whole digital media center,
Yeah.
but you got to get a class to use the equipment. So I'm taking that as soon as I can.
I'm doing the same thing with my film class that I'm either taking in the summer or fall because that's the only way they'll let me into like the film building to use all of their stuff. And I'm like, gimme.
Let me in.
Give me that special access. Yeah, you always gotta find those little loopholes because otherwise they make me use the SAD computers in the PCL, which is not fun.
Yeah, and one thing that's been happening is me and my co-writer for the web series, we've been planning on trying to go buy a microphone for the past month, and we've never been free for each other to do it. So
what are you guys trying to use a microphone for? Just like
right now, since I haven't been able to do any writing for the web series, he's written out like 1 or 2 short films that he wants to do in the meantime until I'm able to fix it up. And he wants to go out and buy a shotgun mic or some lighting stuff so he can start that and get used to editing and filming stuff like that. Because anyone can film, but you gotta practice yourself and know what you're trying to go for.
Yeah,
To actually get it right.
It's not just about filming; it's about the style of it.
Gotta go for that neo-realism.
Yeah, I know one thing. Like especially like you gotta like practice with it and then like figure out exactly what's happening too. Because like when I was filming my web series, which is on hiatus. What is it? I have like my DSLR and like I have a Rode mic that like goes on top of it, which is a shotgun mic because I wanted to fix it after the first episode's audio was kind of But then I found out that I have a bunch of Wi-Fi routers all in this room next to me. I don't have anyone living on this side. It's just all the internet routers. So I get major interference over there on my microphone and from that Wi-Fi router. And so only in my bedroom can I get like clear audio on that mic. So it's like unless I'm filming literally in another building or outside, I can't get any audio from that in my apartment. So I either have to get audio from my phone or from like this like Blue Yeti mic, which sucks, especially when it comes to like filming like a web series. It just it's really inconvenient. So it's like figuring out all those technical problems ahead of time is definitely a good idea.
One thing that we want to do with a web series is that a lot of the stories that I have pertain to it all revolve around us being in a study room. And so one idea that we're mingling with right now is only recording it in a study room.
Yeah.
of keeping that being the only. That sounds boring, but we want to keep it in just a study room, and that's it. Because one thing that happened a lot of the time was someone would always reserve a study room for us to go to, and we found a way to cheat the system in that we could keep it for like the whole day practically. I'm not gonna say how could then they'll fix it, but yeah, there's a day where we had a study room reserved for us for 14 hours.
Dang.
And no one would be able to use it. We'd go in and out. We'd either go to a class, some would stay, some would go and someone would come back, and we just keep it in there. And so I feel like one unique element that we'll again try to do is keep it in the study room only. Maybe show shots outside in the library itself, but just in the study room.
I like that as a concept. I like things that are like kind of confined, because even like my web series, it's like mostly in the apartment is like the idea that like I wanted to do for it. I didn't want it to be. I wanted to be like, you hear about action that happens like outside, but it all just takes place in here with like the roommates. And so I get that. I get it. If you would like to be a guest on a future episode, please fill out the survey in the description.